What if I told you that some of Hollywood's most talented black actors didn't fade away because they lost their touch, but because they vanished without a trace? They once lit up the screen with unforgettable performances, charm, and power. Then suddenly, nothing. No new roles, no interviews, no explanations. Some walked away from fame, others were swallowed by mystery. And a few? Their disappearances still spark rumors today. These aren't just stories of fame and fortune, they're tales of silence, secrets, and unanswered questions. Here are 10 black actors who vanished and were never seen again. 10. Jodie Turner-Smith. Jodie Turner-Smith was once seen as Hollywood's next big thing. Her breakout role in Queen and Slim turned her into a rising star almost overnight. Critics praised her raw emotion, confidence, and powerful presence, calling her performance unforgettable. She had that rare mix of elegance and strength that made her stand out in every scene. With her name suddenly everywhere, it seemed like Jodie was destined to rule both film and fashion. But just when her career looked unstoppable, she disappeared from the spotlight as quietly as she had entered it. After her bold role in Anne Boleyn and public marriage to actor Joshua Jackson, Jodie began to withdraw. Her red carpet appearances slowed down, and film offers seemed to fade. Fans noticed the silence, but she never explained her sudden retreat. Some believe she grew tired of the constant judgment surrounding her personal life and the pressure of being a black woman in an industry that often fails to protect its own. Others think she simply wanted peace over fame. Whatever the truth, Jodie's decision to vanish when she was at her peak left a lasting mystery, a reminder that sometimes walking away is the loudest move of all. 9. Gary Dourdan. Gary Dourdan wasn't just another face on television. He was a star who brought smooth charisma and emotional power to his role as Warwick Brown on CSI: Crime Scene Investigation. During the early 2000s, he was one of TV's most admired actors, balancing intensity with undeniable charm. Fans loved his energy, and it seemed like he was on a path to become one of Hollywood's leading men. But behind that success, Gary was fighting battles no one could see. As CSI soared in popularity, rumors about Gary's personal struggles started to grow. Reports of substance abuse and financial problems began to surface. After years of being one of the show's most beloved stars, his contract wasn't renewed, and just like that, he was gone. The red carpet stopped, the interviews ended, and the spotlight faded completely. His sudden disappearance left viewers wondering how someone so talented could vanish so completely. Though he tried to make small comebacks, he never reclaimed the fame he once had. Gary Dourdan's story is one of Hollywood's quiet heartbreaks, a man who had it all, lost it all, and then slipped into silence while the world moved on without him. 8. Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown once had the whole world laughing. As Eddie Thomas on That's So Raven, he was funny, confident, and full of energy. Kids loved him, parents recognized his talent, and Disney saw a star in the making. In the early 2000s, Orlando was everywhere, acting, singing, and even voicing characters in animated shows. He was the kind of young star who seemed destined for lifelong success. But somewhere along the way, fame took a darker turn. After the show ended, Orlando's life started unraveling. He began making headlines for all the wrong reasons: arrests, strange interviews, and public breakdowns that left fans shocked. It was painful to watch someone so gifted lose control in front of the world. The happy, energetic actor who once filled screens with laughter became a mystery everyone whispered about. Over time, Orlando disappeared completely from mainstream Hollywood. Years later, he resurfaced occasionally, often in unpredictable ways, but never quite returned to the person fans remembered. His story isn't just about fame fading. It's about a young actor who flew too close to the spotlight and lost himself in its glare. Orlando Brown didn't just vanish. He burned out in full view. 7. Lark Voorhees. Lark Voorhees was once America's sweetheart. Playing Lisa Turtle on Saved by the Bell, she became one of the most stylish, confident, and loved faces on television. Every teenager knew her name, and she was one of the few black actresses in the early 90s who broke through on a major sitcom. Lark had the charm, the beauty, and the potential for a long, bright career. But after the show ended, her path took a strange and heartbreaking turn. In the years that followed, she appeared in a few small projects, but her sparkle began to fade. Rumors about her health and personal struggles started to spread, and fans noticed her changing appearance in rare interviews. Hollywood, which once celebrated her, seemed to turn its back when she needed help most. Slowly, Lark disappeared from screens and public life altogether. Her absence felt like a quiet loss for an entire generation that grew up watching her. Though she's reappeared a few times over the years, the confident girl who once ruled Saturday mornings never truly returned. Lark Voorhees didn't just leave Hollywood, she slipped away from the world that once adored her. 6. Michael Wright. Michael Wright was one of those actors who could command attention without saying a word. His intensity on screen made every performance unforgettable. In The 5 Heartbeats and Sugar Hill, he played characters that were raw, emotional, and deeply human. Fans and critics alike believed he had the kind of talent that could make him a Hollywood legend. But after a string of powerful roles in the 90s, Michael seemed to vanish without a trace. Unlike many actors chasing fame, Michael appeared, uninterested in the Hollywood spotlight. He kept his life private, avoided interviews, and slowly drifted out of the public eye. Some say he became disillusioned with the industry, while others believe personal struggles kept him away from new projects. Whatever the reason, his absence left a noticeable void. He was one of those rare performers who could steal a scene with just a look, and then he was gone. Even years later, fans still wonder why someone with his talent simply disappeared. Michael Wright didn't fade because he lost his touch. He stepped back so quietly that Hollywood barely realized it had lost one of its most captivating souls. 5. Rae Dawn Chong. Rae Dawn Chong was Hollywood gold in the 80s. With her stunning looks and natural charm, she stood out in films like The Color Purple and Commando. She had a unique energy that made her instantly memorable, confident, bold, and completely herself. Rae Dawn wasn't just an actress. She was a statement of independence in a time when few women of color got the spotlight. For a while, it looked like nothing could stop her rise. But then, almost without warning, she slipped away from Hollywood's radar. As years passed, Rae Dawn began appearing in smaller projects, far from the big screens where she once shone. She later revealed that she often felt typecast and overlooked in an industry that didn't know how to handle her versatility. Instead of chasing roles that didn't inspire her, she chose to live life on her own terms. Her quiet exit wasn't a downfall, it was a decision to protect her peace. Today, Rae Dawn Chong remains one of those rare talents who left before Hollywood could break her spirit. She didn't fade out. She took control of her own story and simply walked away when the applause was still loud. 4. Merlinda Santana. Merlin Santana was one of the brightest young talents of the 90s. If you watched The Steve Harvey Show, you remember him instantly. Smooth, quick-witted, and unbelievably charismatic as Romeo Santana. He had that natural screen presence that made you think he was just getting started. Before that, he showed up in Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, Moshe, and even had a stint on The Cosby Show when he was just a kid. Everything about his career signaled a long future in Hollywood. Then tragedy cut everything short. In 2002, at only 26, Merlin was shot and killed while sitting in a friend's car in Los Angeles. The news hit fans like a punch to the chest. One moment he was a rising star, and the next he was gone. His death wasn't just shocking, it was senseless, leaving behind questions that never fully healed for the people who grew up watching him. Hollywood didn't lose him to scandal or burnout. It lost him to violence. Merlin Santana didn't fade from the spotlight. He was taken from it. And even after all these years, his absence still feels like a wound in Black Hollywood, a reminder of how fragile some of the brightest futures can be. If you want a different vibe, quieter disappearance, more mystery, or someone who walked away on their own terms, just say the word, and I'll craft another version. 3. Leon Robinson. Leon Robinson had everything a Hollywood star needed: talent, looks, and that effortless charisma that made audiences fall in love instantly. In films like The Five Heartbeats, Cool Runnings, and Above the Rim, he became a familiar face of the 90s. His charm felt timeless, and his smooth, confident presence made him unforgettable. Many believed Leon was just one major role away from becoming a household name. But after years of steady work and fan admiration, he suddenly began to fade from the spotlight. Unlike others who vanished through scandal or tragedy, Leon's disappearance was quiet and gradual. He continued to perform in smaller films, music projects, and stage plays, but Hollywood's cameras stopped turning his way. Some say he was typecast and boxed in by the system, while others think he simply refused to play Hollywood's game. Whatever the reason, Leon's retreat left fans wondering how such a magnetic performer could slip into obscurity. He never lost his talent, only the world's attention. Today, Leon Robinson stands as one of Hollywood's forgotten gems, a man who once burned bright and then walked away with grace, leaving behind roles that still shine decades later. 2. Raven Larry Moore Kelly. Raven Larry Moore Kelly was more than just a child star. She was a prodigy. Bursting onto the screen in films like A Time to Kill and What's Love Got to Do with It, she displayed wisdom and depth far beyond her years. Critics praised her as a young powerhouse with a future as bright as any Oscar winners. Her performances carried an honesty that made audiences sit up and take notice. But just when it seemed like she was destined to become one of Hollywood's next leading ladies, she quietly disappeared. As the years went by, Rae Venn stepped away from the spotlight almost completely. She appeared in a few small projects, but the major roles stopped coming. Many believe she faced the same struggle that countless young black actresses did, an industry that celebrated her talent as a child but failed to support her as she grew up. Rather than chase fame, Rae Venn chose a quieter life, focused on creativity away from the camera. Though Hollywood forgot her too soon, her early performances remain unforgettable. Raven Larry Moore Kelly's disappearance wasn't a fall. It was a quiet act of survival in an industry that often forgets its brightest young stars. 1. Brandon Quinton Adams. Brandon Quinton Adams was one of the most familiar faces of the 90s. As a kid, he starred in classics like The Mighty Ducks, The Sandlot, and The People Under the Stairs. His charm, timing, and natural confidence made him one of the decade's most beloved young black actors. Fans watched him grow up on screen and expected to see him continue into adult stardom. But somewhere after his teenage years, Brandon simply vanished from Hollywood. There was no big announcement, no scandal, no explanation. He just stopped appearing in films. Some say he wanted to focus on his personal life, while others believe the roles simply dried up once he got older. Whatever the truth, his absence left a strange emptiness for those who grew up watching him. Years later, small appearances reminded fans of his incredible potential, but he never returned to the spotlight fully. Brandon Quinton Adams' story is both nostalgic and bittersweet, a reminder of how fame can fade quietly, even for those who once seemed unstoppable. He didn't lose his spark. Hollywood just stopped shining a light on him, leaving behind a legacy of roles that still warm hearts decades later. Fame can be blinding, but disappearance? That's the part Hollywood never talks about. These actors once stood in the spotlight, shaping culture and inspiring millions, then slipped into the shadows without a word. Were they running from something? Or was something being hidden from us? Which of these disappearances shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts below, and if you love uncovering the mysteries Hollywood tries to hide, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because the next story might be even darker. Now, the birth of a groundbreaking show. When Living Single hit the airwaves in 1993, it wasn't just another sitcom, it was a movement. At a time when television was filled with white-centered stories, this show broke through barriers and finally gave young black audiences a mirror in which they could see themselves. Created by Yvette Lee Bowser, it became the first major primetime series created by an African-American woman, and that in itself made history. Set in Brooklyn, it followed 6 ambitious friends chasing dreams, dealing with love, and figuring out life together. What made it special was its authenticity. It didn't try to sugarcoat the black experience or rely on stereotypes. It celebrated individuality, culture, and confidence. The humor felt fresh, the characters felt real, and the energy was contagious. Then came Queen Latifah, already a rising music star, stepping into the role of Khadijah James, the strong and ambitious magazine editor who led the pack. Her presence brought power, charm, and leadership both on and off the screen. Add in the catchy theme song she performed herself, and Living Single quickly became more than a show. It became a vibe. The sitcom's mix of laughter, realness, and unapologetic pride made it a cultural treasure. For many fans, Living Single wasn't just entertainment. It was representation, a reflection of everyday life with the people who looked, talked, and dreamed like them. It proved that audiences were ready and hungry for stories that truly felt their own. The real friendship behind the laughter. On screen, the cast of Living Single felt like one big family, and that chemistry didn't come from nowhere. Behind the scenes, Queen Latifah, Kim Coles, Erica Alexander, Kim Fields, T.C. Carson, and John Henton built real bonds that grew deeper with every season. They laughed, supported each other, and created an atmosphere filled with warmth and trust, which spilled naturally into their performances. During long hours of filming, they often shared meals, inside jokes, and personal stories. Latifah's easygoing leadership helped keep the vibe positive, while Kim Coles' humor made even the toughest days fun. Erica Alexander brought fierce energy, and Kim Fields' professionalism kept everyone focused. The cast had a rhythm, different personalities, yet perfectly in sync. But like any real friendship, it wasn't always smooth sailing. Fame brought pressure, creative opinions sometimes clashed, and the stress of Hollywood occasionally tested their patience. Still, through all the ups and downs, their loyalty stayed firm. They respected each other as artists and cared for one another as people. That genuine connection is why the show's friendships felt so authentic. The love between the characters wasn't just scripted, it was lived. Even years after the series ended, the cast continued to reunite, share memories, and show that their bond wasn't just for TV. It was the real thing, built on laughter, respect, and shared success. Queen Latifah, the reluctant star turned TV icon. Before Living Single became a household name, Queen Latifah was already breaking barriers as a female rapper in a male-dominated industry. But when the chance came to star in a sitcom, she wasn't sure if acting was her next move. Television was new territory, and the idea of leading a primetime show came with pressure. Yet once she stepped into the role of Khadijah James, the strong, confident editor of Flavor magazine, She fit the part so naturally it was hard to imagine anyone else playing it. On screen, Latifah brought power and poise. Off screen, she became the heart of the cast. Her confidence inspired her co-stars, and her easygoing humor kept the set lively. She had a gift for making everyone feel seen, turning workdays into family moments. As Living Single gained popularity, Latifah proved she wasn't just a rapper who could act. She was a born entertainer. Her role also changed how audiences viewed women on television. Khadijah wasn't chasing romance or relying on anyone else. She was independent, intelligent, and proud. That kind of character wasn't common at the time, and it sent a powerful message about success and self-worth. Queen Latifah's journey from hesitant newcomer to TV icon showed the world that her talent couldn't be boxed in. Her presence made Living Single not just a comedy, but a cultural statement about empowerment and resilience. Kim Coles' unexpected struggles. While Kim Coles brought endless laughter to the screen as the bubbly Sinclair James, her real life behind the scenes wasn't always as carefree as her character. Known for her infectious smile and perfect comedic timing, Coles became an instant fan favorite. But success came with a heavy cost. She struggled with self-doubt and the pressure to constantly be the funny one. Hollywood often tried to limit her to one type of role, and that feeling of being boxed in slowly took a toll. Coles later admitted that fame wasn't as glamorous as it seemed. Balancing public expectations while battling insecurities became an emotional challenge. She wanted to prove she was more than a punchline, that she had depth, range, and stories worth telling beyond comedy. Despite those struggles, she continued to light up every scene she was in, using her natural charm to hide the pain she often carried quietly. Still, her resilience shined through. She turned her challenges into motivation, eventually embracing self-love and confidence on her own terms. Her journey mirrored that of her character, hopeful, quirky, and determined to find happiness despite life's bumps. Fans didn't just laugh with Sinclair, they connected with the real Kim Coles, who showed that strength doesn't always roar loudly. Sometimes it smiles through the pain and keeps moving forward. Erica Alexander's fight for fair treatment. Erica Alexander's portrayal of Maxine Shaw, the quick-witted, no-nonsense attorney, became one of the most beloved parts of Living Single. Max was bold, brilliant, and unafraid to speak her mind, a role that stood out on television in the early 90s. But while her character exuded confidence, Erica's off-screen journey was far more complicated. Behind the scenes, she often faced the reality of being a black actress in an industry that didn't always recognize her worth. Despite being one of the show's strongest performers, she sometimes felt overlooked when it came to promotion and opportunities. Her powerful performances kept fans hooked, yet Hollywood didn't give her the recognition she clearly deserved. Erica spoke out years later about how inequality shaped her experience, not just on Living Single, but throughout her career. She refused to stay silent about the lack of fair treatment and the struggles black women in entertainment continued to face. Even so, her performance as Maxine Shaw became legendary. She turned a sitcom character into a symbol of empowerment, funny, fierce, and unapologetically intelligent. Fans saw in Max the kind of woman they wanted to be, ambitious, loyal, and strong-willed. Erica's fight for fairness wasn't just personal, it was for every actress who came after her. Her courage to speak up made her not only unforgettable on screen, but also deeply respected off it. Kim Fields' secret struggles while filming. Kim Fields was already a familiar face before Living Single. Fans knew her as Tootie from The Facts of Life. But stepping into the role of Regine Hunter brought a new challenge. Regine was stylish, opinionated, and full of sass, a character fans loved for her humor and attitude. Yet behind that polished exterior, Fields was dealing with her own personal battles. During filming, she faced exhaustion from years of nonstop work in Hollywood. Growing up on television had its rewards, but it also left little room for privacy or rest. Balancing her acting career, personal life, and the pressures of fame often pushed her to her limits. Despite the chaos, Fields never let it show. Her professionalism remained rock solid. There were also times when she questioned whether she still wanted to stay in the industry at all. The constant demand to perform, stay relevant, and meet expectations weighed heavily. But Fields pushed through with grace, using her work on Living Single as a form of creative expression and personal escape. Her portrayal of Regine showed her versatility, mixing comedy with heart, fashion with vulnerability. She made audiences laugh while quietly carrying her own burdens behind the scenes. Over time, Kim Fields' strength became part of her story, showing that even when life felt overwhelming, her passion for her craft never faded. T.C. Carson's shocking exit. T.C. Carson, who played the smooth-talking, intelligent Kyle Barker, brought sophistication and charm to Living Single. His chemistry with Erica Alexander's Maxine Shaw created one of the most memorable love-hate dynamics in sitcom history. Fans adored their banter, and their on-screen connection added depth and fire to the show. But behind the camera, Carson's journey took an unexpected and painful turn. As the series gained popularity, Carson began to feel that certain voices within the cast weren't being treated equally. He spoke up about the lack of fair recognition and creative respect for the black actors who helped make Living Single the hit it was. Unfortunately, his honesty didn't sit well with the network. What started as constructive criticism turned into tension behind closed doors, and soon his time on the show came to an abrupt end. When Kyle suddenly disappeared from the series, fans were left confused and disappointed. For Carson, it wasn't just losing a role, it was losing a family he had helped build. Still, his integrity remained intact. He chose to stand for fairness, even if it cost him his spot. Years later, he revealed how speaking up for equality changed his Hollywood path, but also earned him lifelong respect from fans who valued his courage. His exit became a silent reminder of how easily outspoken artists can be pushed aside in an industry uncomfortable with truth. The network's controversial move. Few television debates have sparked as much conversation as the link between Living Single and Friends. Longtime fans couldn't help but notice the similarities. Both shows featured 6 single friends living in the city, juggling love, work, and friendship. Yet while Living Single came first, and had already found success with its authentic storytelling, Friends quickly became a cultural phenomenon with massive promotion and funding. Behind the scenes, many believed that the network poured more attention and resources into Friends, sidelining Living Single despite its originality. Even members of the cast hinted that executives viewed the white-centered version as more marketable. It was a harsh reflection of how Hollywood often treated black creativity, admiring it quietly while profiting from its imitation. Still, Living Single never lost its identity. It held its ground with humor, intelligence, and pride, becoming a cornerstone for representation in television. Fans stayed loyal, celebrating the show's authenticity and cultural impact long after its run ended. While Friends dominated headlines, Living Single inspired a generation and paved the way for future hits like Girlfriends and Insecure. The controversy might have revealed how unfair the industry could be, but it also proved something powerful. Living Single didn't need imitation to be iconic. It already was. The emotional end of the series. By the time Living Single reached its 5th season, it had already made history. The cast had grown closer, the fans were devoted, and the characters had become household names. Yet behind the laughter, the atmosphere on set began to change. Ratings were still solid, but network priorities had shifted, and promotion for the show slowly faded. The cast could feel the difference: less marketing, fewer resources, and an uncomfortable silence about the show's future. When the cancellation news finally came, it hit hard. There was no grand farewell or emotional final episode. The show simply ended. Many of the actors later admitted they felt blindsided and heartbroken. They had built something powerful, something that mattered deeply to viewers, and watching it end without the recognition it deserved was painful. The final days of filming were bittersweet. The laughter was still there, but so was the weight of goodbye. Kim Coles later said it felt like losing family, while T.C. Carson described it as unfinished business. The audience never got closure for certain storylines, and the cast never got to celebrate their achievements the way they deserved. Still, Living Single left behind something timeless. Its abrupt ending didn't erase its impact, it amplified it. Fans kept the show alive through reruns, streaming, and word of mouth, turning it from a sitcom into a symbol of representation, friendship, and pride that would never truly fade. The cast reunion that almost happened. After years apart, the cast of Living Single began dropping hints about a possible reunion. Fans were ecstatic. Social media lit up with excitement at the thought of Khadijah, Maxine, Sinclair, Regine, Kyle, and Overton sharing the screen again. Queen Latifah, now a powerhouse in entertainment, even teased the idea on talk shows, revealing that discussions were happening behind closed doors. The idea wasn't just about nostalgia. The cast wanted to show how their characters had grown, older, wiser, and still navigating love and life in their own ways. It was a chance to bring closure to the stories that ended too soon, but despite the enthusiasm, scheduling conflicts, network issues, and creative disagreements made the project stall before it could fully take off. Still, when the cast reunited for interviews and special appearances, it felt like no time had passed. The chemistry, the laughter, and the warmth instantly returned. Fans got emotional seeing them together, and the bond between the actors was as strong as ever. Even without a full revival, those reunions reminded everyone why Living Single had endured. It wasn't just a sitcom. It was a family that people still love to come home to. Their connection, both on and off screen, proved that some shows don't need reboots to stay alive. The spirit of Living Single never left. It simply evolved, living on through the people who made it unforgettable. So, what was your favorite Living Single moment, the one that still makes you smile or think after all these years? Drop it in the comments, hit that like button if you love the show, and make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories of TV history. What if we told you some of the biggest names in Black Hollywood are actually family and no one saw it coming? Some of these stars grew up side by side, while others didn't even know they were related until fame brought them face to face. From music legends to Hollywood icons, these celebrities share more than just talent and fame. They share bloodlines. But here's the kicker. Many of these connections were kept quiet for years, hidden behind the glitz, the gossip, and the Grammys. Get ready, because these are 15 black celebrities you didn't know were family. 15. Donna Summer, Bobby Brown. The disco queen Donna Summer and R&B bad boy Bobby Brown shared more than just musical talent. They were cousins. In Bobby's early career, Donna took him under her wing, offering guidance and industry connections that could have launched him to even greater heights. However, Bobby's notorious ego and rebellious attitude created tension between them. He began to resent what he perceived as Donna's controlling nature. What if we told you some of the biggest names in Black Hollywood are actually family and no one saw it coming? Some of these stars grew up side by side, while others didn't even know they were related until fame brought them face to face. From music legends to Hollywood icons, these celebrities share more than just talent and fame. They share bloodlines. But here's the kicker. Many of these connections were kept quiet for years, hidden behind the glitz, the gossip, and the Grammys. Get ready, because these are 15 black celebrities you didn't know were family. 15. Donna Summer, Bobby Brown. The disco queen Donna Summer and R&B bad boy Bobby Brown shared more than just musical talent. They were cousins. In Bobby's early career, Donna took him under her wing, offering guidance and industry connections that could have launched him to even greater heights. However, Bobby's notorious ego and rebellious attitude created tension between them. He began to resent what he perceived as Donna's controlling nature, feeling she was trying to change his authentic self. Their mentorship turned sour when Bobby publicly dismissed her advice during a radio interview, claiming he didn't need help from disco's past. The rift lasted for years, with both too proud to make the first move toward reconciliation. When Donna passed away in 2012, Bobby was devastated by the regret of unfinished business. He realized too late that her guidance came from love, not judgment, leaving him to carry the weight of their unresolved relationship. 14. Cory Booker, RuPaul. Senator Cory Booker and drag superstar RuPaul are distant relatives who represent two very different faces of Black excellence. Their family connection remained largely unknown until a genealogy research project revealed their shared ancestry. Initially, Cory worried about how his association with RuPaul might affect his political career, given the conservative nature of some constituents. Meanwhile, RuPaul found humor in having a politician cousin, often joking about bringing glamour to the Senate. Their relationship took an interesting turn when RuPaul invited Cory to appear on his talk show, where their easy chemistry and mutual respect became evident. RuPaul's infectious personality and wisdom helped Cory relax his sometimes serious public image, while Cory's dedication to social justice impressed RuPaul. Their unexpected friendship has become a powerful example of how family connections can bridge different worlds, proving that politics and entertainment can find common ground in shared values and authentic relationships. 13. Spike Lee, Baron Davis. Director Spike Lee and former NBA star Baron Davis are second cousins who've maintained a relationship filled with creative tension and mutual respect. Baron always harbored acting ambitions beyond basketball, frequently asking Spike for opportunities in his films. Initially dismissive of his cousin's Hollywood dreams, Spike challenged Baron to prove his commitment to the craft. Their relationship reached a pivotal moment when Spike made a playful bet. If Baron could memorize an entire script in 1 week, he'd give him a significant role in his next project. Baron rose to the challenge, impressing Spike with his dedication and natural talent. This led to Baron's memorable performance in several of Spike's films, launching his successful transition from sports to entertainment. Their collaboration demonstrated how family challenges can push individuals to exceed their expectations. Today, they continue to work together on various projects, with Spike serving as both cousin and mentor in Baron's evolving acting career. 12. Shaquille O'Neal, Hiya Man. Bill Bellamy. Basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal and comedian Bill Bellamy are second cousins whose relationship thrives on humor and friendly competition. Their family connection became evident during childhood gatherings where both would compete for attention through different talents. Shaq with his impressive size and athletic ability, Bill with his quick wit and storytelling. Even as adults, their competitive nature continues, with each trying to outdo the other in their respective fields. Family events become entertaining spectacles as they engage in verbal sparring matches that leave relatives in stitches. Shaq often jokes about Bill's height, while Bill returns fire with observations about Shaq's free throw shooting. Despite the constant ribbing, they maintain genuine affection and respect for each other's achievements. Their bond demonstrates how family members can push each other to excel while maintaining the playful dynamic that makes family gatherings memorable. Both credit their cousin relationship with keeping them grounded and connected to their roots, despite their fame and success. 11. Snoop Dogg, Ray J, Brandy. The musical family tree connecting Snoop Dogg, Ray J, and Brandy as first cousins created both opportunities and tensions in the entertainment industry. Growing up together in Southern California, their shared musical DNA was evident early on, but so were the personality clashes. Brandy's pop sensibilities often conflicted with Snoop's hardcore rap image, while Ray J struggled to establish his own identity separate from his more famous relatives. Family gatherings became complicated as each achieved different levels of success, creating underlying resentment and competition. The tension reached a peak during a family barbecue when harsh words were exchanged about career choices and authenticity. Surprisingly, this confrontation led to an impromptu rap battle in the backyard, with each cousin dropping verses about their frustrations and love for each other. The musical showdown cleared the air, allowing them to express their feelings through their shared language of music. Today, they maintain a supportive relationship, often collaborating and appearing together at family events with genuine warmth. 10. Wood Harris, Steve Harris. Wood and Steve Harris are more than just brothers. They're acting powerhouses with a sibling rivalry that once ran dangerously deep. From childhood plays to Hollywood auditions, they constantly competed. When Wood earned fame as Avon Barksdale in The Wire and Steve shone in The Practice, things got tense. Their friendly competition turned into heated debates about acting style and success. One night, a brutal argument about career choices led to months of silence. But everything shifted when Steve went through a personal crisis. Wood, despite their distance, showed up without hesitation. That moment cracked the wall between them, revealing loyalty and love beneath the competition. They began to lean on each other, offering advice, support, and even praise. Today, the rivalry still exists, but it's the healthy kind. They're each other's biggest fans, proving that brotherhood, when tested, can turn into something even stronger. 9. Viola Davis, A.T. Mike Colter. Viola Davis and Mike Colter are second cousins who once tried to merge family ties with professional ambition, but things didn't go as planned. When they were cast in an independent film, everyone expected magic. Instead, their clashing styles caused serious tension. Viola's deep, emotional method acting didn't sit well with Mike's more relaxed, spontaneous approach. Rehearsals became stressful, scenes fell flat, and frustration boiled over. The film never took off, and both walked away with disappointment. For years, they barely spoke at family gatherings, dodging the awkward elephant in the room. But eventually, they had a raw conversation. They realized it wasn't personal, it was passion, pride, and creative misunderstanding. Today, they've rebuilt their bond. While they may never share a screen again, they've found peace in mutual respect and family love, proving that even career clashes can't break blood ties. 8. Kendrick Lamar, Baby Keem. Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem are cousins, two rap stars from different generations, navigating fame, family, and friction. When Keem emerged on the scene, many labeled him Kendrick's protege, casting a long shadow he didn't ask for. Meanwhile, Kendrick struggled with how to mentor without overwhelming. Things boiled over during a studio session, tensions flared, lyrics turned sharp, and words were exchanged about originality and respect. That moment could have ended it all, but it didn't. Instead, it sparked one of the most powerful musical reconciliations ever: family ties. In that Grammy-winning track, they didn't just trade bars, they unpacked family pressure, creative identity, and mutual love. It was raw, real, and undeniably electric. Since then, their relationship has matured. Keem has stepped into his own spotlight, and Kendrick respects him as an equal. Their bond is proof that rivalry can evolve into remarkable collaboration. 7. Maya Rudolph, Prue, Minnie Riperton. Maya Rudolph's comedic genius was shaped by tragedy and resilience, growing up as the daughter of soul legend Minnie Riperton. When Minnie died of cancer in 1979, Maya was only 6 years old, leaving her to navigate childhood and adolescence without her mother's guidance. The loss profoundly impacted Maya's worldview, leading her to find solace and expression through humor rather than following directly in her mother's musical footsteps. While Minnie's 5-octave range brought ethereal beauty to classics like Lovin' You, Maya developed her own unique voice through comedy and character work. She often speaks about feeling her mother's presence during performances, channeling that love into her ability to make others laugh. Maya's path to Saturday Night Live and beyond represented both honoring her mother's artistic legacy while carving out her own distinct identity. Her comedy often touches on themes of loss and healing, showing how tragedy can be transformed into joy and connection with audiences worldwide. 6. Da Brat, E.T. Lisa Ray McCoy. Da Brat and Lisa Ray McCoy are sisters, but for years, their relationship felt more like a standoff. Da Brat, bold and unapologetic in hip-hop, clashed with Lisa Ray's elegant, polished Hollywood persona. Their differences weren't just personal, they were public. Social media spats had fans picking sides and speculating on deep family wounds. Friends recall red carpets where they barely spoke, and family holidays filled with icy silence. But when their mother faced a serious health scare, everything shifted. Forced to come together, they remembered what truly mattered. Tearful conversations followed, filled with regret, forgiveness, and laughter. They finally accepted that their paths didn't need to match to be valid. Today, their sisterhood is strong. They cheer each other on, share heartfelt moments online, and even poke fun at their past feuds. It's proof that no fight is stronger than the love between two sisters. 5. Debbie Allen, Phylicia Rashad. Sisters Debbie Allen and Phylicia Rashad have dominated entertainment for decades, but their relationship has been marked by intense competition and occasional rivalry. Both talented performers and directors, they've often found themselves competing for similar roles and opportunities in an industry that doesn't always have room for multiple black women at the top. Their competitive nature has led to periods of tension, with each sister pushing herself to outshine the other. Friends describe heated arguments over career choices and public recognition, with both feeling pressure to prove themselves individually rather than as part of a famous family. However, their shared experiences navigating Hollywood's challenges have ultimately strengthened their bond. They've learned to channel their competitiveness into mutual support, celebrating each other's victories while maintaining their individual identities. Their reconciliation came through recognizing that their success doesn't diminish the other's achievements, but rather elevates the entire family legacy in entertainment. 4. Rashida Jones, H.E. Quincy Jones. Being Quincy Jones's daughter wasn't the glamorous dream people imagined. It came with massive pressure and constant comparisons. Rashida Jones wanted her own spotlight, so she carved a path through acting, writing, and producing. Still, whispers followed her claims she only succeeded because of her father's name. Quincy, a music legend with traditional views, didn't always understand Rashida's creative choices, especially her pivot into comedy and modern TV. Their conversations often turned into passionate debates, with Quincy pushing legacy and Rashida defending originality. The tension grew, not out of disrespect, but from two strong-minded artists living in different creative eras. Over time, Quincy saw Rashida's brilliance for what it was, her own. Today, they admire each other deeply. Rashida stands as a creative force in her own right, balancing respect for her father's legacy with a voice that's completely her own. 3. Lenny Kravitz, Al Roker. Rock star Lenny Kravitz and beloved weatherman Al Roker are first cousins, though their relationship has been anything but smooth. Growing up, family gatherings were tense affairs, with Lenny's artistic rebellion clashing against Al's more traditional approach to success. Al often questioned Lenny's musical pursuits, suggesting he pursue something more reliable, which Lenny took as a lack of faith in his abilities. For years, they maintained a polite but distant relationship, appearing together at family events but never truly connecting. The turning point came during a live television appearance when Al was interviewing Lenny about his latest album. What started as professional banter turned personal when Al unexpectedly praised Lenny's perseverance and apologized on air for his earlier doubts. The genuine moment of vulnerability melted years of ice between them, showing viewers that even family members can find their way back to each other through honest acknowledgement and respect. 2. Nia Long, Sommore. Nia Long and Sommore share blood, but their bond has never been picture perfect. As half-sisters, their worlds couldn't be more different. Nia, the graceful, poised actress known for emotional depth; Sommore, the sharp-tongued comedian unafraid to shock. Their personalities often clashed, Sommore's raw humor brushing up against Nia's calm, polished presence. Industry insiders noticed the cold distance during red carpets and events where both appeared, smiles that didn't quite reach the eyes. Public interviews hinted at unresolved family tensions, especially when their fame put them on different wavelengths. While they've never publicly fought, their silence sometimes said enough. And yet, behind that frostiness lies respect. Both women have acknowledged the challenges of being in the spotlight and navigating family expectations. Though they may not be the closest of sisters, they recognize each other's strengths, continuing to build a quiet, complicated, and evolving sisterhood. 1. Diana Ross, M2Action. Rhonda Ross, Kendrick. The legendary Diana Ross carried one of music's biggest secrets for decades. Her daughter, Rhonda Ross Kendrick, grew up believing Robert Ellis Silverstein was her biological father, but the truth was far more complicated. Berry Gordy Jr., the Motown founder who helped launch Diana's career, was actually Rhonda's father. This revelation didn't surface until Rhonda was an adult, creating a complex web of emotions and family dynamics. The discovery brought both pain and healing, as Rhonda had to reconcile her identity while Diana faced the consequences of keeping such a monumental secret. Their relationship required rebuilding from the ground up, moving beyond the lies to find a genuine connection. Today, they've found peace through honest conversations and mutual understanding, proving that even the most complicated family secrets can eventually lead to stronger bonds. Surprised by how many of these stars are actually related? It just goes to show you never really know who's connected behind the scenes in Hollywood. Which celebrity connection shocked you the most? Or did we miss a famous family tie that should have made the list? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this video with someone who loves pop culture twists, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping celebrity revelations.